Today on Lead with Spark, we are talking about the mid-year reset, but not the kind where we beat ourselves up over what we haven't finished yet. This is about choosing where the rest of the year goes before it gets away from us. I'm sharing what I realized in my own life and my business right now. The goals I'm behind on, the summer that I refused to miss, and the PTO that I blocked before I even knew where I was going. And why professional women have to stop waiting for life to slow down before we start making room for what matters. Because the second half of the year is not about doing more, it's about choosing with intention. Welcome to the Lead with Spark podcast, the show where real women lead with authenticity, show up with presence, and live out their purpose. I'm Lynsey Mulder, speaker, C-suite executive, family gal, travel junkie, and a firm believer that your leadership starts from within. Around here, we go beyond the fluff. We talk about the real stuff no one teaches you in leadership training. Your values, your superpower strengths, boundaries to stop burnout, and how to quit being the chaos coordinator of your own life. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, or just trying to stop feeling stuck in the daily grind, this is your space to get clear, get aligned, and finally lead with confidence. So let's cut the noise and reconnect with the spark that makes you, you. Let's go get our spark on. Wow, we are halfway through the year. How did that even happen? I can't believe it. It seems like time is just flying. I feel like I was just in January with all my fresh start energy. I was picking out my goals. I got my new planner. I chose my word of the year, and I had a clean calendar ready to go. I was a little bit delusional, though, but in a very, very optimistic way. I had pretty lofty goals for this year, and I still do. I came into the year wanting to write a book. That still freaks me out to even say that, because I never thought in a million years that I would be doing that. But my outline has been approved, and I have a draft of the first 3 chapters. So for me, that's pretty darn exciting. Am I a little bit behind? Yeah, probably. Am I pretending that I'm not? Yeah, also depending on the day. I also have a big lofty goal to host a women's professional retreat that's going to cover both personal and professional growth. It is going to be amazing. I am partnering up with an amazing person, Paula. I can't wait for you to meet her. We are planning it for October, and we are moving forward at huge rates of speed. We've had a few hurdles with finding the right destination because we want it to match the vibe. We've got the course outline ready to go, and it is pretty exciting. But apparently when you're planning something meaningful and beautiful, it's not just about the coursework, which I'm very, very used to. It's also a lot about logistics and making sure that the experience and the moments matter. We're charging forward. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to share some more information with you about that. And then I have a goal to create a Spark Life self-paced course that's available to people out there online, everywhere. So it's not just local people and my voice you're counting on. That one, well, I haven't even started that one. There it is, full honesty. So if you're listening and you had big goals in January and now it's July, and some of them are moving and some of them are wobbling and some of them are just sitting quietly over there in the corner, trying not to make eye contact with you, then you're in good company. I'm right there with you, sister. This is real life. This is what happens when you're building a business. You're leading your team, serving clients, loving on people, and you're managing your home, trying to take care of yourself, and still wanting to grow into the next version of who you're becoming. So today, I don't want this episode to feel like a lecture. I don't want to hand you a checklist and say, here, go fix your life by Friday. That's not what we're doing. I want to feel like we're sitting here at the table, having some coffee, maybe some iced tea or a glass of grapes, just because it's July in Iowa and I'm saying, okay, friend, let's talk about the second half of the year before it runs away from us. Because this is the thing. This year is going to keep moving whether we choose the path or not. Summer, it's going to come and it's going to go. Fall's going to arrive. It happens every single year. And then what happens? Holidays sneak up on us like we don't do this every single year. December will be here before we know it. And if we're not careful, we will get there and wonder, where did the time go? But here's the truth that I keep coming back to. The time went somewhere. It always goes somewhere. The question is whether we chose where it went. That's the heart of what I want to talk about today. Not how do we do more? How do we fill the calendar more? Get more time in our day, add more activities, hustle harder. But how do we choose where the time goes now? Because if we don't choose it, it gets chosen for us by other people's calendars and their urgency, by all of the emails that fill up our inbox, by meetings that somehow, I don't know how this is even possible, but they seem to multiply when nobody's looking. Also by those expectations that we never even agreed to, but somehow we inherited them. And then comes in all those little triggers, the guilt, the habits that we should have had, the beliefs that if there's white space on our calendar, it must mean that we're available. And listen, I have lived that. I worked in the corporate world. I have launched businesses. I know how easy it is to fill it up, lead those big teams. I have balanced work and home and kids and marriage and travel and leadership and expectations. And oh my goodness, I feel like I could keep going on and on and on. I know what it feels like to be the one who can figure it out. We can fix it. And as women, you're probably really good at figuring that out. The problem is we can carry a lot and we can handle a lot and we can manage a ton of things. We can adjust and pivot and plan and organize and smooth things over, make those phone calls, send the emails, grab the gift, remember the thing, and still show up to the meeting with notes. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? And it's exhausting. So here we are. We're halfway through the year. I think reset is not about adding more, but it's about pausing long enough to ask, do I want to keep carrying all of this? And just as importantly, what do I actually want to carry into the second half of the year? Because there are things that are worth carrying. Your values are worth carrying forward. Your dreams are absolutely on the list of things to carry into the second half. Your health is worth carrying. Your family, your leadership, who you're becoming is worth carrying. Obviously, your joy is worth carrying also. The problem is not that we carry things. The problem is that we sometimes can carry everything. And when we carry everything, the things that matter most don't always get the best of us. They get what's left over. And sometimes that's drained energy. Sometimes it's the sore feet, the back that hurts, the brain that can't keep up. I don't know about you, but I don't want the most important parts of my life to survive just on leftovers. That became very real for me when I started thinking about summer. Last summer, we got to Labor Day, and I remember having this feeling of, wait, what just happened? We missed so many things. I feel like we missed our outside music venues. I didn't get as much pool time as I wanted. I didn't get a lot of time with friends. We missed some of those most simple but yet important moments. They're not dramatic, but they fill up my cup. And honestly, nothing happened, nothing terrible at all. We were just busy. We rushed through summer. We worked through it. We handled our life. We probably said, oh yeah, we should do that sometime. And then sometime actually disappeared. And that's when it hit me. We did not lose summer at all. We lost it in one big unplanned week at a time. A Friday night here where we were just too tired to go out. A Saturday night there where we didn't think ahead to make plans. A week where work ran late every single night, or a night where we were just too tired to do anything. Those weekends where we thought, oh, we'll do something next weekend. And then suddenly it was September and summer was over and we couldn't get it back. See what I mean? I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It's just true. We can't go back to October and say, wow, I wish that I could get that July evening back. Please, I meant to use it better. It doesn't work that way. So this year, I decided I didn't want to miss summer. Not because every moment has to be magical. I mean, good grief, that does sound exhausting also, but more because I wanted it to be intentional. So I put events and blocks in the calendar. At least one night a week, I have a 5 o'clock event planned. It causes me to turn off my computer and actually leave. I know it doesn't sound revolutionary, but for me, it matters because if I don't see it on my calendar, I just keep working. I actually like to work into the evening. I know this about myself. I can love my work so much that I just forget to stop. And that sounds crazy until you realize that the people that you love are getting very tired of that version of you. The life that you say matters is waiting for you to close up the laptop. So I block the time. Some of those times have real plans. Go listen to music at one of our favorite venues or take the jet skis out on the lake, have dinner with friends. And other blocks, they don't have a plan yet. They just say, hey, stop working at 5 o'clock and go find something fun to do. Honestly, that might be my new life motto. Just stop working and go find something fun to do. I mean, not forever, not irresponsibly, but enough to remember that we're not machines. We're humans, and humans need joy. Humans need laughter. We need connection. We need memories, and those evenings where nobody is asking for a deliverable whatsoever. This is also why my husband and I do a really good job at planning out our PTO for the next 12 months. And I mean, block it. I don't know where we're going for some of the trips. I truly don't, but we're going somewhere. That time is protected because I know I'm a better coach, speaker, consultant when I have time to reset myself. And I know I'm better when my cup is full. And my cup gets filled up by energy and rest and experiences. Travel fills me up. Time with my husband fills me up. Time with my kids and grandkids, they're exhausting, but they fill me up completely. Those new places that we get to go, the new foods and the experiences and the culture, that change of scenery fills me up. It's the kind of day where you're not constantly watching the clock. I just love it because I know even though I'm not doing anything, my cup is full and then I have more energy to pour into other people. That's not selfish, that's stewardship. And I honestly think professional women need to hear this so clearly. Your rest is not a reward for finishing everything. Your joy isn't something that you earn after everybody else is taken care of and you've fixed all of their problems. Your life isn't supposed to be squeezed into whatever space is left after work, family, responsibilities, and everyone else's needs because they get first dibs. You are allowed to plan for what fills you up. In fact, if you're leading people, coaching people, raising people, supporting people, heck, even just loving and guiding people, doing that meaningful work, you need to plan for what fills you up. It makes it even more important. Working on an empty cup, you can still pour out for a little while, but eventually it starts pouring out things like resentment and guilt. And nobody wants resentment with a side of leadership. This is where Spark Life comes in for me. When I talk about Spark Life, I'm really talking about living and leading with intention. And that all starts with your values. Not the kind of values that sound nice on a worksheet and then disappear into your bottom drawer. I mean the kind of values that help you make your decisions. The kind that tells you where your yeses go in the day and where your nos get confidently planted. The kind that helps you recognize when something might be good, but it's not yours for this season. You know what I'm talking about. I want you to choose what deserves your best energy. For me, that's experiences. That's my family. They matter the most. Growth in people, empowering people. Connection is at the top of my values list. Adventure matters. Maybe not the type of adventure that you're talking about, like hiking up a mountain or jumping out of an airplane, but adventure as far as new experiences and how do I get my arms around learning new cultures and learning new things. So whatever your values are, I want you to know that they matter, and I want them to be evidenced on your calendar. That's where we get ourselves into trouble sometimes. We say something matters, but there's actually no evidence. We say our family matters, but then our calendar is packed so tight with work and volunteer activities and community activities that there's no room for our family. Or this is me right now. I say my health matters, but anytime in the gym or going for a walk, it's the first thing that I cancel because everything else feels urgent. And so I let that overcome all of my health goals. You might think that development matters to you, but you never schedule the class. You never invest in coaching. You don't read the book, or you do read the book, but you don't take the time to actually implement it. The one that makes me sad is when people say that joy matters to them, but they treat it like a bonus item. And then they wonder why they feel off because they never got that joy. Sometimes you don't need a whole life overhaul. You just need your calendar to tell you the truth about your values and if you're living them out. That's why I love the idea of a mid-year reset. It gives you a chance to look at the second half of the year and ask, is the life that I say I want actually represented anywhere in how I'm spending my time? I'm not asking you that with shame. I'm asking you with curiosity. Like, hey, friend, what's working here? What's not? What needs to change before this year keeps rolling forward? One of my favorite examples of this is a summer bucket list. I loved creating these when my kids were younger because they had all kinds of fun ideas to add to the bucket list. They would add some things, and then we would add some things that they obviously didn't even know existed. It might be simple things like, hey, go get ice cream or try a new flavor. Go to the lake and play on the giant playground, have a bonfire, listen to music outside. Making those memories, they don't have to be extravagant. That's not the point. The point is that we get excited thinking about what's possible. And then we get excited when we actually do it. And then you get the third boost of excitement when you get to check it off. It's like that feeling of accomplishment when you can see the bucket list items start to be completed. I know that sounds so simple, but there is something really powerful in it. It gives your brain something to look forward. It helps those memories stick. Instead of summer being this blurry stretch of work and heat and random weekends, it becomes a season that we participated in on purpose. And I'll tell you, sometimes we end up cramming some things in at the end. There's definitely been years when we looked at our bucket list and thought, well, we apparently need to take 2 days off work and become very aggressive about fun. But that creates memories too. Even the cramming part becomes part of the story. And that's what I want us to think about for leadership too, because you can do the same exact thing at work. Create your vision for what you want the second half of your year to look like and produce, not a wordsmith it with AI until the strategic pillars look alive and amazing. Don't be doing that. I'm talking about a real conversation with your team. What would make the second half of the year feel successful? What projects do you want to complete and be proud of and celebrate? What would help us work together better look like? What skills do you all need to strengthen that you could focus on from a development perspective? Or maybe think about this. How could you improve your communication flow to create more clarity? When we think about these things, we're not thinking about how do we make things harder or add on to our plate, but more about what do we want to experience as a team? How do we want to see success? How do we want to be intentional in that second half of the year rather than just looking at all the meetings and emails that are coming in? Imagine those around a table, not on a worksheet. Imagine your team actually talking about all of this information. Imagine them contributing. Imagine people having a voice in the pathway. That changes things when you think about those questions because people support what they help create. They get behind it and they get really excited. If the leader disappears into a room or goes off and builds that second half of the year plan by themselves, and then they come out with this polished document, people might be like, okay, great, it's another vision statement, and they might comply, but they're not going to truly get behind it. When the team helps shape that vision, they engage completely differently. They take ownership. They see themselves in it. They understand the why. They have the ability really quickly to connect their work to something bigger than just a task list. And that's important. I've seen this over and over and over in businesses, in the corporate world, as even just entrepreneurs walking on their own. And I can see it now when I'm doing coaching and consulting. So many leaders are moving fast, and boy, they're smart and they're capable. And if this is you, I know you've got good intentions, but you're often reacting to the calendar instead of leading it. You're responding to the urgent thing instead of choosing what's truly important. So instead of letting the year happen to you and your team, think about how can I decide what matters most? And then build an activity around that to get that plan intentionally in place. And before you know it, everybody gets busy again, but now everyone is aligned. They're working and they're clear on the direction that you want to go forward. So even if they're tired, they know how they contribute to the overall plan and what you're creating. That's a leadership opportunity to do a reset at the end of the year. Pull your team together. Get them in one place. It's not just personal. it's professional. So if you think about doing this at work, even if you're going to suggest it to your boss, or if you are the boss, don't go create a 70-page slide deck. I don't want you to do that. Please don't do that to your people. Just have the conversations. Look at the key milestones. Maybe you plan a team outing or a team connection time before summer disappears. Maybe you decide, hey, for the next 6 months, we're all going to strengthen our communication or a feedback loop, or we're going to get this huge project done and then we're going to celebrate it. I know that sounds basic, but those are some of the greatest gifts that you can give as a leader. Creating clarity with your team, getting excited about what you're doing, and make those connections to the bigger picture. And for all professional women, I think there's another layer here, because a lot of women are not just carrying the work. They're carrying the emotional temperature of the team too. They're noticing who's quiet. They're seeing who's mentoring who. They're doing a pulse check on the culture of the team. You're usually the ones that are remembering birthdays. Now, I wish that were me. That's not me. But a lot of you are out there. You're remembering the birthdays and the anniversaries, making sure that people feel included in the group that you're part of. Those are the little details that nobody else sees. And honestly, it matters to everybody. It takes a lot of work and a lot of energy, but it's really important. So at mid-year, part of the reset is deciding what you're going to carry with intention, or what needs to be shared or delegated or named or even released. It's not that you don't care, because I know that you do, but it's what you have to do to be intentional. You can't continue to be the keeper of every single feeling and detail and deadline and relationship, every situation at work and at home. That's not leadership. That's a slow road to burnout and a very, very organized calendar to get there. This is where your non-negotiables come in. Non-negotiables are those things that help you to protect what matters most. They're not meant to sound fancy. They're meant to be lived out. It might be a non-negotiable like we just talked about. I'm going to stop work at 5 o'clock at least one night a week because my family and my rest matters most importantly. Or it could be that PTO. Instead of donating it back to your employer, like some little gift, you actually plan it, you schedule it, you develop it, you put it on the calendar and use that as a reset opportunity. Whatever your non-negotiables are, I want you to protect that space. It's not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming clear. There's a big difference. Rigid says, hey, this is my way or no way. Clear says, this is what matters most to me, and I'm going to protect it. It's kind to you, it's kind to your team, and to your family. I started off by telling you some of my lofty goals, and I'd love to hear what your goals are too. You can tell I've got some that are kind of on track. Like this book, I have to be disciplined and I have to be honest about the time it will take. I have to get it on my calendar and intentionally plan it. If I'm going to have a powerful retreat, which I plan on it, I need to be resilient through all of the hurdles, knowing that this is brand new to me. This is a development opportunity. We're going to keep moving forward even when things start to get complicated. And I have to decide, am I going to keep that self-paced course on track, or am I going to release it and focus on the other two goals? And if I do, you know what? That's okay, because it's important to me to have a full cup. I want to be a woman who protects my values, which some of that is rest and experience. I don't want to just talk about this. And that's where leadership gets pretty personal, because we can say something that we want, but our calendar, our activities, and the habits that we have in place, they will reveal what we're actually choosing. Not perfectly. No one does this perfectly. So please don't hear perfection in any of this. I'm not sitting here with a flawless calendar and a perfectly balanced life by any means. But I am sitting here with goals that are behind. A course that I haven't started, that retreat that is practicing my patience. That's real. And I'm choosing. That's the difference. I'm choosing not to miss summer. I'm choosing to protect my reset time. I'm choosing to keep some of my goals moving forward, and I'm probably going to be choosing to release one of them. I'm choosing to reset and get excited about it. That's what I want for you too. Not a perfect plan, but an intentional one, a chosen one. So many times we go through our careers and our lives without actually choosing the pathway. I actually was talking to someone recently and they said, you know what? Here I am. I'm at the end of my career, ready for retirement. And I never once made a decision about my career. Not one time. I kept doing the next thing, accepting the next meeting, responding to the next request, getting the promotion, handling the problem. I moved forward and I had a very successful career. But looking back, there's several things that I wish that I would have chosen to be intentional. We don't want to end any chapter in our life wondering, where did the time go? And I'm not saying that to scare you, but I do want to wake you up just a little bit because you've got time. We're in the second half of the year. We have this season, this summer. We have the opportunity to choose differently today. So maybe your reset for this mid-year is not dramatic. Maybe it's one conversation with your team, or kick off that evening at 5 p.m. and shut the laptop. Maybe it's making your summer bucket list. Maybe you have one big, huge work milestone that you want to get excited about for the second half of the year and set your focus on accomplishing it. That's it. Small choices compounded. Protecting your evenings, making those memories, blocking time to complete a reset. I'm excited for you. As we dive into July, I want to leave you with this. You don't have to carry everything into the second half of the year. You don't have to make every goal happen at the same speed. You do not have to prove your worth by being available all the time. You do not have to wait until work slows down to live your life. You have a calendar that you get to decide what goes on it. You get to choose. Choose what matters. Choose what gets protected. Choose where your best energy is going to go. That will help you be the kind of leader that you want to be, of yourself and of everybody else. It's going to help you make the memories that you want to last a lifetime. And maybe this powerful mid-year reset is simply this. Look at the second half of the year and tell the truth. What do you want to create? What experiences do you want to have? Who do you want to be while you're creating and experiencing it? And then make your calendar match. That's your Spark Life Challenge this week. Just take 30 minutes. Sit down with your calendar. Put your top priorities on there first. I don't care what they are. Family, PTO, music, ice cream, a mudslide. It doesn't matter to me. Make sure that it's what you're choosing. Have it be intentional. Have it be energizing. Have it be full of meaningful work, real connection, protected rest, and memories that will stick. And I'm going to tell you, if there's a little bit of ice cream, a lake day, or maybe a trip that you haven't planned yet, or even something on that summer bucket list, get aggressive and complete it, even if it's at the last minute. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for joining me today on Lead with Spark. If this episode made you think of somebody else who's carrying a lot, and they probably need permission to choose that second half of the year reset, send this to her. But until next week, keep leading with Spark. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for being here and for doing the work to lead yourself first. If this episode sparked something for you, take a second to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with another woman who's ready to own her leadership. And remember, the way you lead your life is the way you lead everything else. If you or your organization are looking for a speaker, an impactful workshop, or an executive coach, head over to LynseyMulder.com and let's connect. Keep showing up. Keep leading with Spark. You got this. I'll see you next time.